things are going to get exciting because we've got a number of linked players, all with confirmed interest. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Cop Logic. We've had a fair bit of movement in the transfer side of things today, so we've got a couple of things to discuss involving two Belgian players, one confirmed interest and one rumoured interest. We're going to jump into both of those things today. So let's start with the big one and the confirmed interest, and we are talking right now about Romeo Lavia. Plays for Southampton, 19 years of age. Perfect age for a rebuild. He's a defensive midfielder for Southampton, so it'd be a type of player we'd be looking at to rotate with, potentially Fabinho, potentially Jordan Henderson could fill in that role as well, but primarily you'd expect rotation with Fabinho if we bring in a CDM at this stage, and with him being 19 years old, he's perfect age for a rebuild, so I would imagine that would be one of the reasons why he's on Jurgen Klopp's radar. Now let's talk a little bit about the information we've had today. So Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Liverpool have 100% concrete interest in the player. Understand Liverpool asked conditions of Romeo Lavia deal. They're in the race. Arsenal working on this deal for 15 days. No official bid from both clubs yet. That was from Fabrizio Romano. He also went on to say Liverpool have opened talks to sign Lavia. Chelsea are not active or close on this deal. So we believe for a while now that Chelsea have been involved with the player. I'd also heard that Chelsea had even opened talks for personal terms with the player. So it's interesting that he says they're not active or close on this deal. Perhaps Chelsea are looking at other targets, or perhaps they couldn't agree on things. I don't know. It looks like at the moment Arsenal and Liverpool are the front runners for the player at the moment. Further confirming this is Sasha Tavolieri. Currently there's a huge fight for Romeo Lavia. LFC working relationship could help the club do the deal. Now of course he's talking there about our working relationship with Southampton, which we already know is very, very good. They were basically a feeder club for Liverpool for a long time, so that could help us get this deal over the line if it's one that Jurgen Klopp really wants to get done. He says Chelsea FC wanted him for the longest time. Lavia already talked about Chelsea to his entourage. Should we assume then that there's been talks ongoing between the player and Chelsea, not the club? Because he's gone on to say that there's no offer yet from any of the clubs, but he did also talk about Arsenal and said Arsenal have the best relationship with the agent for agreeing personal terms. So I'm going to take from this that he hasn't agreed personal terms with any club yet. He has spoke to Chelsea. His agent has a great relationship with Arsenal, which is probably a really great boost for them, but Liverpool have a great working relationship with Southampton, so maybe that'll help us get a deal done. So in terms of how concrete this is, well, we know the interest is 100%, but what will be interesting to find out over the coming weeks is whether or not this is a primary target for Liverpool. We know at the moment that Kefren Thuram is Liverpool's priority, and it's unlikely that anything will be done on that until after the Euros end. So I think what we are going to be doing really is hanging on until the end of these Euros and seeing if we can get Kefren Thuram over the line. Once Kefren Thuram is over the line, things are really going to open up. I think that's when things are going to get exciting because we've got a number of linked players with confirmed interest. So we're talking here about Manu Kone, Ryan Gravenberch, Gabri Veiga, and of course Romeo Lavia. So where Liverpool go after that remains to be seen. What their priority is exactly. Are we talking about a player here who is a potential backup option if one of those deals fall through, or are we talking about a player that Jurgen Klopp is ready to go in for as soon as this Kefren deal is over the line? We're going to find out about that in regards to all of those players as soon as the Euros end, I feel. So I think things are really going to explode once the Euros end. It's going to be exciting. So a few more weeks and hopefully we'll start to see some deals get done. But this is certainly one to watch because, as I said, with Fabrizio commenting on it, you know the interest is genuine, and with our great relationship with Southampton, you would also expect if we want to get a deal done, we'll move fast on it. So let's wait and see what happens after Kefren Thuram. But in the meantime, let's move on to our second target we're going to talk about today, and that is of course Jérémy Doku. Now I'm sure you all have heard of Jérémy Doku because Liverpool have been linked with him for what feels like the last 2 or 3, 4 seasons. It's been a very long time. Jérémy Doku, obviously, he's a right winger. He's only 21 years of age, so again, he's very young. And Liverpool, it seems, have been linked with him again today. We don't have confirmation 100% that this is genuine interest, but from the French side of things, we have had journalists saying that it's true, that the interest is genuine. No bids or anything like that, no discussion with the player on personal terms, but Liverpool are monitoring the player. So as I said, he's only 21 years of age, he's a right winger, and I think the interesting thing about Jérémy Doku is the fact that he's a creator and a goal scorer from that right wing role, which would benefit a player like Darwin Núñez. You know, obviously at the moment, we've got Mo Salah on the right wing. He's very much a goal scorer. It would be interesting to see the likes of Darwin Núñez work alongside a wing pair that were more involved in assists. Not that I have any issue whatsoever with Mo Salah scoring goals. That's what he does best. But going forwards, perhaps a winger that plays a little bit of a different style could benefit us. Jérémy Doku's biggest asset is probably his pace. He's very, very, very fast. And although he's played off the left 1 or 2 times, primarily he plays on the right side. He's only 21, so very young, and we are going to need a backup for Mo Salah at some point. This to me does not feel like it's a priority at all, to be honest. I wouldn't expect anything to happen this summer on him. I'd be surprised if we made a move on Jérémy Doku, but it's interesting that we're being linked with him yet again. I think we can say at this point that there's definitely a vested interest in the player. My biggest concern with Jérémy Doku is the fact that he seems very injury prone, which hopefully we can finally sort of turn a corner on all these injury prone players. But I think getting someone in like Jérémy Doku could be a bit of a risk with his injury record. If he was to come in now, Mo Salah you would expect will play the majority of the games and he would rotate, which you would say, well, that's fine. You know, if he's an injury prone player, he wouldn't be playing that many games anyway. It's okay. But we know that Mo Salah is going to have to move on at some point, and you would want a backup then to go and take up that mantle on the right wing. And whether that could be Jérémy Doku, I'm not 100% sure with that injury record. Could be a really big risk there. But as I said, I don't expect anything to happen on this summer, but I do think it's interesting that we're being linked with him again. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Romeo Lavia and Jérémy Doku. But I think if this window was McAllister, Kefren Turam and Romeo Lavia, would you be happy with that? And also let me know what you think about Jérémy Doku. Is he someone you'd like to see at the club? Do you think he'd be a suitable deputy for Mohamed Salah? And what about the future after Mo left? Would you be comfortable with someone like Jérémy Doku taking over? Let me know in the comments, guys, and make sure you stay tuned to Cop Logic for all the news as and when it comes. Subscribe for the latest updates and make sure you hit that bell to stay up to date with everything, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.